Muy buenas, muy buenas, muy buenas. Soy Sigiloco Games. Estamos aquí en el Dragon Age, continuando con la historia de aquí. Vamos a seguir justo donde nos quedamos en el anterior video. Y para proseguir, lo único que nos falta es seguir adelante, no nos queda más. Y vamos a ver, como ya dijimos aquí, esta misión de aquí no podemos hacerlo porque Alison nos pide hacer trampas, así que por más que queramos hacer esta misión, no podemos. Y creo que ya tenemos todo. Veamos. Sí, como ya ven, ya tenemos aquí loading. Aquí ya tenemos todas las misiones de loading, las que podemos hacer, hechas. Y con esto ya nos vamos. Y como ven, aquí ya tenemos a todos los integrantes que podemos hasta ahorita. Y con esto estamos bien. Vamos a proseguir con la historia. Vámonos, program.
Leave us alone.
Aquí tenemos algunos engendros. Aquí tenemos este de aquí. Mago de sangre. Una cajita.
Mighty timely arrival there, my friend. I'm much obliged. You want a reward, eh? I suppose that's an entirely reasonable request. How does 100 silver sound? I was going to use that to fix up the cart, but quite frankly, I'll be grateful enough that my son and I come out of this with our heads. Good. One good turn deserves another. That's what the missus always claims. The name's Bodon Feddick, merchant and entrepreneur. This here is my son, Sandal. Say hello, my boy.
Hello.
Road's been mighty dangerous these days. Mind if I ask what brings you out here? Perhaps we're going the same way. Grey Wardens. My, that does rather explain a lot. No offence, but I suspect there's more excitement on your path than my boy and I can handle. Allow me to bid you farewell and good fortune, though.
Goodbye.
Now then, let's get this mess cleaned up, shall we?
What?
We'll be off as soon as this mess is cleaned up. Thank you kindly for all your assistance.
A ver.
As you wish.
Creo que hicimos algo mal.
Bad dreams, huh? Well, it is real, sort of. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a blight. I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure looks like one. But yes, that's the Archdemon. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me too. Other than dying young and the whole defeat the blight alone thing, no. I'm all tapped out for surprises. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
No, no, sí estamos bien. Ahí está. Ahí está Bodom. Vamos acá ratito. Ya tenemos nuevas misiones.
Ah, it's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Fennec, at your service once again. I saw your camp and thought to myself, what safer place to rest for the evening than in the camp of a Grey Warden? I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
Claro que sí.
Anything, everything, but all of the finest quality. No cheap trinkets here. And my boy Sandal happens to be a bit of a hand with enchantments. Oh, yes. Sadly, it also makes us a target for bandits and the like. If there were spare hands to hire as guards, I would have done so long ago. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Tenemos algo que nos va a vender que nos importa mucho, que es una mochilita que cuesta 7 monedas de oro. Y así es como nos roban. Por eso necesitamos bastante dinero. Nos vamos a comprar la mochilita. Y aquí tenemos bastantes cosas que nos pueden servir. Y algunas cosas que nos sirven muchísimo. Pero que de momento no vamos a ponernos porque necesitamos más nivel. Lo que tenemos por aquí. Bueno, lo que vamos a comprar es esto, pero con el tiempo, porque para esto necesitamos 38 de fuerza, así que todavía no podemos ponernos. Y esto de aquí también es muy bueno. Probablemente solo vamos a comprar la mochila. Y bueno, bueno, estamos viendo aquí. Esto aquí también nos sirve, pero no podemos probar porque necesitamos plata. Y yo creo que de momento vamos a dejarlo ahí. Y bueno, aquí tenemos este que no puede hacer encantamientos.
Hello.
The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was it now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed. He can fold lyrium into almost any weapon or piece of armor, though naturally some of the more extravagant materials will take more lyrium than others. It's a process that some of the master smiths back in Orzammar will perform, but my boy here is just as adept at it. Isn't that right, boy?
Enchantment!
And there you have it.
Enchantment!
Esto no puede ser encantamientos, pero como tenemos solo este arma para poderlo modificar, entonces vamos a ponerle solo este. Y así modificamos armas, dándole un poco más de extra de daños. Y listo. Y bueno, aquí tenemos a todos los integrantes de nuestro equipo. Tenemos a Morrigan, tenemos a Leliana, tenemos a Sten, Listari y por último nuestro perro. Aquí tenemos una misión que podemos activar ahorita.
You're a hard man to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levy Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levy of the coins? Levy the trader? But Tairn Kuzlan's son should be well aware that in politics things are seldom as they seem. Say what you will of my family, we are ardent Warden supporters and have been since the beginning. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
Y vamos a ver qué le prometió Duncan.
Well, as you know, my family's name is mud around noble circles. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last warden commander of Ferelden back when the wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arland banished the wardens and he took House Dryden's land and titles. Hard to say. After King Arland died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one, and our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride. I asked for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honour. Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arland's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honour. Soldier's Peak is strategic and symbolic importance. Duncan said that it would be worth it right there. He also hoped to recover lost warden history and perhaps a few old relics. No one knows what's up there now. I can pick my way through the tunnels at the base of Soldier's Peak, but the place, well, they say it's haunted, and it'll be dangerous for certain. Will you think on it at least?
Bueno, vamos allá.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Desactivamos esta misión. Y bueno, aquí podemos hablar con nuestros queridísimos compañeros. Por ejemplo, con Alistair.
What do you need? You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did. I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the Blight and everything. I'm sorry.
Y
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of. I don't know. I have no idea what the Grey Wardens do for them when they fall in battle. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
bueno.
Yes, I imagine you really have, haven't you? Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Y bueno. Ya ganamos aprobaciones de los compañeros que tenemos alrededor y tenemos que subirlo lo que más podamos. Bueno, no siempre, bueno, cada uno tiene su personalidad, ¿verdad? Tenemos como que escoger las respuestas correctas para poder lograr una aprobación, o si no, nos dan una desventaja, o sea, hacen que desconfíen en nosotros. Vamos a hablar con Leliana.
Yes? Well, here I am. I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell, and the darkness drew me in. When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rose bush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith. In my dream, I fell, or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the Blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the Blight devours everything? He's still here. I hear him in the wind and the waves. I feel him in the sunlight that warms my skin. I know what the Chantry says about the Maker, and what should I believe? What I feel in my heart, or what others tell me? They said my ideas were blasphemy. But is it so bad if what I believe gives me comfort? If it could give someone else comfort? I know what I know, and no one will ever make that untrue.
Y bueno, seguimos conversando con Elena.
Yes? Well, here I am. Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose. When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools. Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
Y ya conseguimos la aprobación.
Yes?
Y vamos a darlo otra vez.
Well, here I am. What is meant by someone like me? And there were no beautiful, charming women in the cloisters, you think? You would be wrong. There were many lovely young initiates in the Lothering cloister, all of them chaste and virtuous. It added to their mystique, because then they were forbidden, and forbidden fruit is the sweeter, no? My fruit? Well, it is not technically forbidden, but it's not freely given either. Not everyone gets a bite. I can't believe I'm having this conversation. But no, I did not take vows. The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed. I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
Y listo, ya tenemos un nuevo códice y más acuerdo con Elena. Vamos a dejarlo ahí. Vamos a hablar con Sten.
Why are we stopping? There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful? I am Kunari. I have given my word to aid you. We are not people of idle promises. I am. I have always fought in war, human. No. Get used to disappointment. People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of, the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty. You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight. As you wish.
Y así es como logramos un poco de aprobación de Sten. Y vamos a guardar. Porque a veces con Morrigan es muy difícil sacarle algo.
What do you wish of me? If you must. I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend. Oh, I truly doubt that children would be worth the effort. They are filthy, smelly things full of tears and snot and trouble. That said, I cannot speak for the tastes of my mother. She has, after all, lived a very lengthy time in the wilds and done many things I know nothing of. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know? No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one. I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear. Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed. The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess. There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary. They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
Y listo.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch? I wouldn't advise it. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Vamos a guardar aquí otra vez. Ahora otra vez con Morrigan.
What do you wish of me? If you must.
A ver.
I cannot teach you, no. But any other mages that cared to learn, yes, I could do that. Send whoever you wish my way, and I shall teach them what I can in the camp, provided they possess the will to even make the attempt.
Estas cambiaformas.
What do you wish of me?
Los personajes aquí también nos dan sus especialidades, así que podemos desbloquearles así,
If you must.
hablando con los personajes.
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I? Beg pardon then while I jump for joy. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time, I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness. Would you not do the same? Your world is an unforgiving and cold place. The wilds I hail from is home to me, and I a natural denizen. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for. Was I hurt? What manner of simpering weakling do you take me for? Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested. Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting? To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes, how to eat at a table, how to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again. Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Y tenemos más información de Morrigan.
Yes?
Y podemos preguntarle más cosas.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees. For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken. That is because I learned my lesson well. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been. They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
Y vamos a guardar otra vez aquí. A ver qué podemos más sacarle a Morrigan.
Yes? We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Y vamos a ver si es que nos deja.
What's this? 'Tis a rather odd discussion you seem to desire, leaning in so closely. Not unless you stop.
Y listo. Y así tenemos más aptitudes con nuestros personajes y así podemos sacar más información. Vamos a probar otra vez. Y vamos a guardar aquí. Vamos a
Yes?
seguir preguntándole cosas. A ver.
If you must. Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
You mean, is she truly the Flemeth of legend and story?
Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience. Ah, I see. That does explain much. I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire. As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her. Many centuries before this land was even named Ferelden. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed. The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge. That was not the point. Conabar had no honor, so she would not have him. Flemeth begged the spirits to aid her, and 'twas they who slew Conabar. The demon the legend tells of came later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see, chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies. The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began. The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her. You ask if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too. The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
De seguro que sí.
How often is this usually? Always? If not always, then when is it not true? There are more things in this world and the next than you or I could ever hope to understand. What Flemeth became is a mystery. I suspect, even to her.
¿Y?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has colored her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all. Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
A ver.
Ah, then you have my sympathies for what it is worth. Which is very little, I am certain. It matters not. Let us move on.
Y listo, aquí tenemos una habilidad querida, por ejemplo, que tienen los personajes como estamos aquí, Morrigan. Y tenemos una habilidad de magia menor. Y de momento vamos a dejarlo ahí. Hemos pasado mucho tiempo aquí hablando con los personajes y solo de un poco de acción. Bueno, aquí tenemos a lo que ya también podemos hablar con él, pero a ver, un poquito.
Oh, why, you little... Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look. Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.
Y listo, vámonos de aquí. Y vamos a coger aquí a Leliana, a Morrigan y a Misterio.
Yes.
Y vámonos, y nos vamos a ir a... Tenemos bastantes lugares donde irnos. Y lo que les recomiendo primero es hacer estas misiones aquí. Esta y esta. Y lo que primero vamos a hacer es ir justamente a esta. ¿Por qué? Porque nos darán unas cosas muy interesantes ahí. Ya verán qué es.
And here we are, Soldier's Peak. Maker's breath. Look at the size of her. What a fortress. I told you the map would get us through the tunnels. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. It came to me in my dreams. When I was a lad, I tried going through the tunnel by myself. Got horribly lost. But every now and again since, I've dreamt of it. I didn't want you to think I was some moon-addled simpleton. I've my wits about me, but enough of that. I'll follow you, from a distance. This place has the stench of death. I expect there's trouble up ahead.
Y listo.
Looks like it's seen better days. Better centuries, more like.
Once the wardens flourished, their ranks full, their caliber certain. Now they even accept people like you, Alistair.
Hey!
Vamos ahí.
Fall back! Fall back already!
Taking the peak will not be easy, my lord.
I gave the Wardens one chance to die with honor. Instead, they hole up like cowards. We follow the King's advice, then. Starve them out.
But the peak has months of supplies.
Then we wait. When they are too weak to lift their weapons, we will send them to their final judgment.
What was that? Felt a bit woozy there. I'm not mad, am I? You saw it too?
I've heard an Orlesian ballad about something like this. A beauty trapped in a dream. In the song, Belisa never wakes up.
Your prissy friend here is making me nervous, Warden. How's this even possible? The place must truly be haunted. Yes, Warden.
Y bueno, lo que primero vamos a hacer aquí es activar unas misiones que tenemos acá. Y esas aquí obviamente se van a levantar. Bueno, aquí esta es una misión. Y activamos una misión. Y bueno, aquí vamos a seguir aquí y se van a levantar. Nuestros enemigos justamente están aquí. Y listo. Y aquí se levantan otros. Vamos primerito por el mago. Vamos a robar aquí este. Y tenemos más enemigos. Aquí vamos a matar el primerito, el que está aquí. Este aquí. Vamos para arriba. Ahí. Vamos aquí a llevar esto. Listo. Y listo. Aquí tenemos una arma muy buena.
As you wish.
Vamos a robar todo lo que dejemos de esto de aquí. Estos de acá. Y creo que ya tenemos todo lo que tenemos aquí afuera. Sí. Ahora sí, vamos a entrar. Y antes de eso vamos a ponernos... Creo que sí podemos... la liana... Sí, justamente sí podemos. Y ponemos aquí esto y le ponemos virotes. Y sí tenemos una nueva arma. Muy poderosa. Vamos a entrar aquí.
The men's morale is low. My spells are of no use in this matter, Commander.
There is more to leading men than sorcery, Avernus. I will remind them that they're wardens. Men, I won't lie to you. The situation is grim. Our forces outnumbered, our bellies empty, and our hearts are sagging. But we are wardens! Darkspawn flee when they hear our horns. Archdemons die when they taste our blades. So are we to bend knee to a mere human despot? No! I, for one, will never give up. I, for one, will never surrender just to dance on Arlen's gallows. So I propose here and now, in these hallowed halls where generations of our brethren stood vigil against darkspawn and evil, that we send a message to that fat bastard. In this sacred place, proud men, strong men stood defiant, and would rather die than submit to tyranny.
So brave, even when starving, and my great-great-grandmother stood with them. Everyone knows they were banished, but to murder them like that, King Arlen must have been a monster. But I've gabbed enough. Lead on, my friend.
Y vamos a ver qué tenemos aquí. Y listo. Abrimos nuestra primera puerta que está aquí. Y a pelear se ha dicho primerito ese de aquí. Listo. Y así es como tenemos que defendernos de estos de aquí, porque espera un ratito que se recuperen. Tenemos una nota.
This should be easy enough.
Y vamos a guardar aquí. Y vamos a entrar aquí, porque aquí hay más enemigos.
It's either you or me. It's gonna be me. Time for some fun. It's either you or me, and it's gonna be me.
Listo. Ahora ver todo lo que podamos. Tenemos aquí una nota. Y aquí cofres, porque creo que no podemos abrirlos porque nos falta habilidad. Ah, no, ese sí podemos. Vamos a ver qué tenemos por aquí. Bueno, hemos subido nivel, así que vamos a ponerle un nivel más. Vamos a aumentarle la voluntad y 2 de magia. Y vamos a ponerle esta. A ver. Cambia formas. Vamos a ponerle maldiciones. Magia de muerte. Listo. Vamos a guardar aquí.
As you wish.
Aquí tenemos aquí un cofre. Sí.
Let's get started.
Una chapa. Vámonos por acá. Tenemos aquí nada. Aquí más enemigos. Ataca, ataca. Van a revivir otra vez estos. Otra vez reviven estos. Y aquí tenemos una historia que necesitamos activar.
This should be easy enough.
The door won't hold, Archivist.
Almost done. The truth must be told.
What does it matter? We're dead.
Our grand rebellion so close. And to die here, a stillbirth.
We never should have done it. Wardens aren't supposed to oppose kings and princes.
Should we stand idly by?
Another one. Rebellion? What's this about a rebellion? If only the book weren't burned. But Sophia must have had her reasons. The Wardens are heroes. Some injustices just can't be ignored. We can only hope.
Y bueno, aquí estamos aquí, cogimos un escudito. Ahora tenemos un hacha, un arco largo, más virotes. Creo que las virotes podemos ponerle a Liliana, exactamente. Y tengo yo, esto no sirve para nada. Y esto creo que sí nos sirve a nosotros, ¿o no? A nosotros sí. Vamos a ver. Y vamos a ver el estéril que tiene. Ya creo que este es mejor. Vamos ahí. ¿Qué tenemos aquí? Ah, ya me acordé aquí. Tenemos unos recuerdos.
Make them pay for every inch, men! Hold the flank! Avernus, we need you!
Nelate Obrasuf Sichan Nit Bekon.
Andraste's blood! What?
More Avernus! Whatever it takes!
Teni Ei Ventrotus
Victos!
Press them! Press them now!
No! I command you, fight the king's men!
Fool! So much death, suffering, and oh yes, blood. The veil is torn now. Your soul is mine, Avernus.
Acolytes, retreat now! The battle is lost!
Avernus!
What just happened? Oh no, more fighting.
Tenemos demonio. Primero tenemos que matarles estos de aquí. Eso. Eso. Listo. Y ahora sí, matar a este. Y vamos a matarlo otra vez a este. Un ratito aquí. A ver, tú, acá. Tú, acá. Tú, cúrate. Y yo acá.
Here we go! It's either you or me! It's gonna be me!
Alright, back on it is then. Let's make this quick.
Bueno. ya logramos. Y listo.
The wardens summoned demons. Can't believe it. And my grandmother, she knew. I believed that my family was better than that. But answers may lay up ahead.
Y bueno, aquí tenemos un demonio que tiene un buen muerto. Una buena arma para los magos. Aquí tenemos un anillito. Vamos a ver qué tenemos más por aquí. Y nada más. Y creo que nos falta algo. Vamos a ver aquí. Vamos a ver si podemos ponerle memoria. No, necesita más magia. Y necesita bastante magia. Vamos para arriba. Tenemos otro guardia. Vamos a ver aquí. Ay. Me olvidé que le puse.
This should be easy enough.
Me parece que dejamos algo atrás. Me parece que una misión nos falta. Aquí tenemos.
Step no further, Warden. This one would speak with you. This one is the Dryden, Commander, Sophia. All these things.
Grandmother?
You have slain many of the demon ilk to get here. This one would propose a deal.
That or she's really let herself go. My great-great-grandmother is dead. I don't know what that is.
This one has tasted her memories, seen her thoughts and hidden places. But she is food for this one. No more, no less.
Y atacamos aquí.
Fool!
Living wretched.
Primerito aquí. A ver. Tú. Ven a atacarle a Sofía. Tú. A este. ¿Listo? Le está matando,
It's either you or me. It's gonna be me. Here we go. Is it just me or do you actually think you have
a ver qué tiene Sofía. Y tenemos una buena armadura. Ahora aquí este libro.
This should be easy enough.
Y aquí tenemos unos cofres. Pero primero vamos a hacer esto. Vamos a subir toda la astucia que podamos. Vamos a poner el siguiente. Vamos a ponerle aquí para que luche. Y vamos a ponerle aquí esto de aquí. Y vamos a ver si es suficiente. Y si es suficiente. Listo. Y yo creo que vamos a... Sí. Yo creo que va a ser todo por el video de hoy. Vamos a ver si podemos ponernos esta armadura que acabamos de coger. Sí, podemos. Vamos a poner aquí esto. Esto. Y esto. Y tenemos la armadura completa de los comandantes de los guardias grises. Lo único que nos falta es una buena arma. Ya la podremos coger. Y así es como quedamos aquí. Obsérvenlo. Y bueno, eso ha sido todo por el video de hoy. Espero que les haya gustado y nos veremos la siguiente vez.